Hello travel partners. Today is officially Groundhog Day, so it seemed only appropriate for me to wear the same clothes that I wore when I did this first video 11 months ago, and even comb my hair the same way I did then. By the way, I never before minded blow drying my hair, but doing so for this taping seemed like a real pain all of a sudden. Anyhow, every day continues to feel like Groundhog Day. For those who don't remember the movie, here's a clip from the film. It shows Bill Murray realizing that he's caught in a time warp.
Okay, campers, rise and shine, and don't forget your booties, because it's cold out there.
It's cold out there every day. What is this, Miami Beach?
Not hardly.
Nice going, boys. You're playing yesterday's tape.
That's right, woodchuck chuckers. It's Groundhog Day. Get up and shake that hog out there. Yeah. Stewie, come here, Groundhog.
What the hell?
It's a great movie, but we are eager to get out of our own time warp. Returning to our present, most of the news of the COVID front has been encouraging, but it's not universally so. The sharp decline in cases is clearly underway. The number of cases is still high, but it's heading downward at a rapid pace. Here's the pattern of daily cases as reported by the COVID Tracking Project. The red line shows the number of cases, high but coming down at a rapid rate. As you can see, the data show a peak on January 12th of almost 250,000 cases, and it's already dropped below 150,000 and is heading south quickly. Most of the expert predictions show this rapid decline continuing nicely over the next several months, and that's exactly what we need. We need the prevalence of the disease in society to drop to such low levels that we can continue with our lives in an open manner without undue risk. We're never going to get to zero risk, just as we don't have zero risk in other exposures, but we can reduce it to acceptable levels. Unfortunately, there's also a couple of things that could upset this very nice trend. Firstly, the trend depends upon all of us acting reasonably. If we get too complacent, if we start to get lazy, if we ignore the experts, we could destroy all the progress that we've made, and we could slow the improvement. We also need to keep wearing our masks and maintaining physical distancing. COVID fatigue is very real, but we do need to persevere. Also, we need to take the vaccine as soon as it's available. The vaccine is working wonders, and already more than 25 million Americans have taken it without problem. And the faster we can get the vaccine into people's arms, the faster the case count will decline. The second concern is from the new variants of this virus. There are three primary ones that have appeared from the UK, South Africa, and Brazil. All three seem to be more transmissible than the original version and may be more virulent. Such mutations aren't uncommon with coronaviruses, and the key issue is whether and how well immunity produced by the vaccines or prior exposure will protect us from these new strains. The scientists don't know the answer for sure and are therefore careful not to provide clear answers. Fortunately, some studies have already been performed on the topic, and they're mostly reassuring. One of the most significant is from Moderna, which conducted its study in collaboration with the Vaccine Research Center at the National Institute of Allergy and Infectious Diseases, which is itself part of the NIH. I do have to point out, as I said earlier, these people really may be great scientists, but they are lousy at naming their institutes. In any event, they reported that, and I quote, neutralizing titer levels remain above levels that are expected to be productive. Now, I admit that I had to look up some of their technical terminology. Basically, this research showed that while the vaccines might not reach the extraordinary level of efficaciousness that they've demonstrated against the unmutated virus, they still work against the new variants. On balance, it appears that the variants will make things more difficult, and they will slow down the speed of the recovery. But it doesn't appear that the variants will fundamentally change the fact that the virus is on a nice downward trajectory in the United States. Now, it was also exciting to hear the report from Johnson & Johnson of the results of their phase 3 trials. Their vaccine proved effective against the virus, even in South Africa, where the new variant dominates. It didn't reach the 95% figure that the first two vaccines achieved, but very few vaccines of any type do. Even more important, not a single test subject with the vaccine got sick enough that they had to be hospitalized. That demonstrates one of the interesting things about these vaccines. Even where they don't prevent a person from catching the virus, they substantially reduce the impact, and that's really the ultimate objective. J&J's vaccine hasn't been formally approved yet, but expected to get emergency approval very soon. One other helpful notice from the vaccine companies is that they're already working to make the slight changes or boosters that could be needed by the vaccines to specifically address these new variants. They don't expect they're going to need them, but as a good proactive step to make sure that the vaccines remain effective, even if nature throws mutations at us. And it's nice to see that they are preparing ahead with a solution that can be approved quickly. I remain absolutely amazed that we are now regularly vaccinating over 1 million people a day, and it's getting better. Dr. Fauci anticipates that this figure could rise to 2 million people a day. Now, the most common question I'm asked is when cruising will resume in strength, and I know you all want to know the answer as well as I do. My answer is consistently, I don't know. But more recently, my answer has been, I don't know, but that's the good direction to be going in. Don't forget, we've already been operating in Singapore for 2 months. And before that, we had operations in Germany, Greece, the Middle East, and the Canary Islands. Just this week, MSC restarted operations in Italy. So operations are beginning. It's going to take a while, and we just need to be patient, but it is happening. And these early cruises are going to give us information that will help inform how we can operate safely. And that's going to give us all confidence in an earlier and safer restart. We've always said that vaccines were the ultimate weapon against this disease, and it's proving to be the case. The vaccines and other steps we are taking are also important to protect the crew. In the beginning, it was really very difficult to ensure that the crew members were virus-free. But the new vaccines, testing, and other steps are giving us the opportunity to protect them as never before. I recall after 9/11 that the question wasn't when would we restart, but when would demand come back. We really questioned whether travel and tourism had suffered a fatal blow. And then again, after the Great Recession of 2009, the question was how long would it take to reattract the demand. Again, the question was whether the cruise market would ever recover. Those aren't the questions we hear today. Today, few people question that the demand is there. They question how long will it take for us to start servicing that demand. That situation today is very different. The general economy is liquid and strong. The governments have poured unimaginable amounts of money to support the economies. And the public is clamoring for the opportunity to again have their experiences outside their home. People clearly have pent-up demand, and we can't wait to satisfy it. So while this pandemic has caused incomprehensible pain and suffering, it doesn't seem to have the legs that these previous crises had. Every day we see signs that people want to get out and away. That pressure will help us once we can reopen and restart. That light on the horizon I've been talking about in these conversations, it's getting steadily brighter. I can't wait till we restore it to full brilliance. But for now, masks on and hands washed. We're too close to stop now.